So let's move on to the final thing that we'll be doing in the screencast for this week. So what we'll be looking at now is making a color slider box. So that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense at the moment, but by the end of it, hopefully it will. So what we're going to do is, since colors on a computer screen are made of three colors, red, green, and blue, we're going to make some sliders and some text boxes which will interact with each other and let us change the color of another button so that we can see what color we're looking at. So first what I'm going to do is make a function, and it's called my color box, and it's going to end. So the first thing that I want to do is make a structure for my handle. So h is equal to struct, and what I'm going to do is start making some handles. So h dot red slider is equal to UI control. It's going to be in a position. Our position is currently set to pixels, so I'm just going to I'll probably just go ahead and make these all very quickly and you can watch, but I might not be explaining exactly every step that I'll do. But I'll show you what it looks like before we start getting into the callbacks and that sort of thing. So just quickly check what we've got. I've made three sliders, one for red, one for green, one for blue. So we've got three sliders that are there and doing stuff for us. So cool, we'll keep going. Now I'm going to make some text boxes that will be next to them. h dot red text is equal to UI control. I'm actually just going to copy and paste these because it's quicker. Now these ones are going to be sitting beside our main ones, so they need to be plus 200 at least. So 240 is for the value from the left. This time they don't need to be as big, they can just be that size. And the style is now a text, I believe. I'll find out in a second. Okay, so they're not edit boxes, they're just regular text boxes, so I'll have to change those. And I forgot to do one very important thing, which was give them more sensible variable names. So they're not a slider anymore, they're a edit box. So red edit, green edit, and blue edit. Save that, we'll try again. Alright, cool. So we've got edit boxes and a slider. Cool. So now we actually need our final button, which is a color button, which will be UI control. Its position will be somewhere really far to the right, probably about 400, and it's going to be 150 on the bottom, and let's make it 200 wide and 500 tall. I don't know what this is going to look like, but we'll see in a second. Now it defaults to being a push button, which is what I want. Let's have a look. Yeah, it can be down and left a bit more. So probably at about 350 and about 50. Let's see. Just see what happens when we dock it. If it gets there. Okay, so make it a little bit lower, and we'll go from there. Okay, cool. So I'm not the best person at designing graphical user interfaces, but it's a good start, I think. So what we'll now need to do is actually define this, the color of this, based on the positions of the sliders or what's in this text box, depending on what gets updated. So we will need a callback function, and I'm going to call it edit. Edit colors, something like that. Now we need h object and event data again. End that. So what this callback is going to do is whenever we edit the slider position or change what text is in this box, it will change the color of that button. So for this button, I will need just going to add a couple more things to this previously. So I'm going to set default values to be string. That's going to have a value of 0. And string have value of 0 as well. Alright, so if I just run this again quickly, we will see our new color box that now has zeros in it there. Computer's being a bit slow because I'm recording at the moment, but cool. So what we need to do is for this button, we actually need to set the background color to be equal to string to num, I believe. Just see if that actually works. String to num of 10 equals 10. Yep, that's what we wanted. String to num of whatever these values are here. So inside of our handles structure, I'm also going to h.rb is equal to 0 h.gb. I'm just going to put values inside of this handle as well, just to store them. And this will probably make a little bit more sense in a second, but Now the colors that we want to set it to is h.rv, h.gv, and h.bv. So we'll try this one again. Now we've got a black button because we've got 0, 0, 0, and 0. Now what we need to do is make our callback actually react to doing things with these. Because this software crashes after I record a certain amount, I'm going to pause it, make the callback, and then explain what happens afterwards, and provide you this code so that you can have a look through. Okay, so I've made the callback function as I'd make it now. There's a couple more things I've still got to fix up, but I'll be able to continue on from here. Now, what will happen is I'll set each of these 6 controls that I've made to use the same callback function. Now, what it will do is it will hObject. Now, use hObject correctly. So, what it does is it gets hObject and finds out what style it is. If the style is not a string, it's supposed to be an edit. So if it's any of these edit boxes, it will reset these values to be what is in the edit boxes. It gets the edit box value, the edit box string rather, converts it to a number and stores it in the value, and then it sets all the sliders to be those. Now, I haven't separated out each button doing its own little thing, as in each button only affecting the ones that are actually affected, but that would require more code to write, and this really wouldn't slow it down at all. So if it's not an edit box, it's got to be a slider. So the value variable that I've got here is set to whatever the value of the slider is. Now, one thing that I haven't done with the sliders is set up what the min and max values are. So the min value is usually 0 and the max value is usually 1. But for this case, I want them. Actually, no, those are the values that I do want. But the problem is that usually we don't represent colors in that way. Usually colors we represent between 0 and 256. So that's what I'll expect to have in my text boxes. So yeah, I'll just set this up and explain a little bit more when I get to it. So I'm just going to edit the max value to be 256. So actually it's supposed to be 255. That's off the top of my head, but at this point we're starting to get to very little differences. So what I actually want to do is whenever I change one of these values, I want to divide it by 256, or 255 rather. So we'll be using usable sort of numbers to display with, but still have what MATLAB wants. So MATLAB wants a number between 0 and 1 for the color, but we want to use between 0 and 256 or 255. So 255. So yeah, I'm sorry if I've sort of done a lot of this without explaining really well what I'm doing. but I'm doing this a bit ad hoc as well, sort of to show you the process that I go through. So this might run. We'll find out. Maybe. I haven't actually set the callbacks. That would help. Callback is called edit colors. With the C being a capital. Add this into all of these ones. Now there is a slight chance that I've gotten red, green, and blue mixed up, but we'll find out in a sec. So let's run this. Take a second. Yeah, it might already be open, or something might be open. So I'll just rerun it just in case. Alright, so there we go. We've got color boxes. So green is working. Blue is what red is. Wait, no, that's the right way around. Because red is the bottommost one, then green, and then blue. So ideally you might have little text labels here, which is the text version, the text UI control, and that'll let you know which button does what. But right now we've got something that's pretty much working and is a non-trivial use for graphical user interfaces in MATLAB. So I'll put this code on to LangJSU when I upload the videos and associate it with that, so you can play with it yourself. Yeah, have fun in the lab.